They say war is hell. It can change you into something you don't even recognize. Or in some cases, it brings out the monster that was hiding inside all along, sometimes metaphorically, sometimes literally, with like a giant alligator mouth right here in your chest. But war can also be fun, especially if it's less realistic, less terrestrial, more colorful, and focuses on fighting back against horrible alien bounty-hunting murder monsters who've come from outer space to kill and capture all the humans. A nefarious collection of 6 radical mutating alien mercenaries. This is G.I. Joe Manimals. G.I. Joe Manimals were a 6-figure assortment of mutating alien bounty hunters and mercenaries to be released in late 1994 into 1995. A new type of threat to the Joes, one that would require a complete technological and tactical makeover, perfect for a refresh of an aging action figure line. Interstellar War was a new frontier for the Joes of the Real American Hero era. They first went to space in 1987 with the release of the Defiant Space Vehicle Launch Complex. 2 years later, in 1989, they added the Crusader space shuttle with Avenger Scoutcraft. But even then, there was only like 3 people on space duty. At the time, threats originating from space were minimal, and certainly not organic. Meanwhile, the rest of the team was training to become ninjas, fighting eco-terrorism, hunting dinosaurs, and winning the war on drugs. In 1993, with no place left on Earth to hide, Cobra took their terror campaign beyond the atmosphere, and the Joes followed. That put the newly commissioned G.I. Joe Star Brigade in the right place at the right time when the mission shifted from opposing the efforts of Cobra to preventing alien invasion. The Lunatics Empire, horrible alien warriors from another galaxy, were the first wave of extraterrestrial beings to set their sights on Earth. Lobotomax, Carcass, and Predacon had come to hunt and kill humans. They were characters' enemies, unlike any that had been featured in the line since its debut in 1982. Those 3 alien figures would set up an even more horrible threat in 1994 and 1995 as 6 new characters arrived: Iguanus, Slithor, Spasma, Vortex, Warwolf, and Zigzag. I don't know why I got amped up at the end. Dubbed the Manimals, they were described as radical reptile aliens from a distant universe. Featuring mutating body change action, kids can convert them from normal aliens to the meanest mutated monsters this side of the Milky Way. Not to be confused with the 1983 NBC TV series Manimal, about a crime-fighting shapeshifter, Dr. Jonathan Chase, who can morph into any type of animal he chooses over the 8 episodes before everyone came to their senses. Manimals, with an S, was not only a narrative transition for G.I. Joe, but a transition in the way the figures were positioned as toys, no longer centering on the character design and gear. Not that that wasn't important, but the primary draw here was the cleverly engineered transformation gimmicks and the activation thereof. The name, of course, a play on the dual nature of the characters, part man, part animals, Manimals. And it makes a lot more sense when you see the original prototype figure for this line, distinctly human with an alligator face bursting out of his chest. By 1994, G.I. Joe was struggling to maintain the kind of enthusiasm and sales that it had experienced previously, over a decade since the brand underwent a successful relaunch. Each of the previous attempts to tap into culturally relevant themes had sputtered. That was better than the last take. The toy industry was now all about superheroes and Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles, a subset of superheroes. Outer space was supposed to be the new frontier for G.I. Joe, the new identity. A line-wide refresh that could introduce new concepts, characters, and a more palatable enemy than global terrorism or drug dealers. The space war was going to ramp up with the introduction of new alien threats, new gimmicks to add more play value to a figure line looking to bring in new fans to replace the kids who had grown up and moved on. Hasbro was having success with aliens and space-based action through their acquisition of Kenner in 1991. Kenner held the Alien franchise license, and even without the support of an animated series, was 2 years into a successful toy line. A war against space aliens just might save the day for G.I. Joe, as long as no superhero ninja toy line with a transformation gimmick and a successful television program showed. Ah, great! There it is! There they are. It's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Forget aliens, G.I. Joe couldn't survive the Power Rangers. Despite some of the Manimals actually making it through production, some of them actually making it to store shelves, G.I. Joe was canceled in 1994 before a complete rollout. A second wave of 6 more Manimals characters was planned but never realized. Carcass, Lobotomax, and Predacon would all be released in Mexico in alternate colors in 1995, but that was the end of their run. Until 2001, the previous year, 2000, saw G.I. Joe back on retail shelves through a very soft relaunch of G.I. Joe, using original molds with some new paint decos and some new parts here and there, in a line called the Real American Hero Collection. As part of that return to store shelves, KB Toys secured the exclusive rights to release all 6 of the previously canceled Manimals. Wave 1 included Warwolf, Iguanus, and Slythor in all new paint decos, different from the ones that no one had ever seen before. But Wave 1 didn't sell so well, not well enough to justify a second wave of the other 3 characters that had also never been released. Those 3 would once again be never released again. And just 8 years later, KB Toys would go out of business, closing their doors forever. Hard to say whether or not the Manimals were the direct cause, but more information is available here in a video we made called The History and Eventual Murder of KB Toys, Maybe by the Manimals. G.I. Joe would survive the loss of Manimals, rebooting itself again in 2002 with the G.I. Joe vs. Cobra line of figures completely redesigned from the ground up, and then again several more times over the course of the next 2 decades. Hasbro would eventually get their revenge on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by consuming them whole, adding their essence to their own in 2018, but never returning to the Manimals, the biggest oddity of G.I. Joe history. Thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. If you're in the position to help the channel grow, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/toygalaxy or become a channel member at youtube.com/toygalaxytv/join. Both Patreon and YouTube channel membership have the same exclusive content, so choose your own adventure. Please share this video and let us know in the comments down below if you've ever heard of or perhaps ever owned any Manimals, and whether, like me, you're hoping for a Lobotomax Build-A-Figure to be featured in the new G.I. Joe Classified series. I'm old school, all right? That's what I want, is the original awesome characters like Lobotomax. Go ahead.